Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Intuitive Angling, and man, I appreciate you guys swinging by the channel and hanging with me a little bit. And guys, today I got a little bit of a rant I'm going to go off on because I've seen a couple of interviews over the past couple of weeks with some veteran bass pros out there that are basically, I don't want to say they're gushing over forward-facing sonar, but they're okay with it. And I'm here out to call, I'm going to call this out in today's video and explain to you guys how pathetic and how disappointed I am at some of my peers that I've been fishing with over the past 35 or 40 years about their stance on this technology. I'm going to dig into this, guys, today and explain to you what I mean with this, and hopefully some of them will hear it and possibly change their ways moving forward here. Also, guys, before we get started, real quick, we do finally got our date set for our first live stream. You guys have heard me talking about this. This coming Thursday, 6:30 Central PM, 6:30 Central Standard Time, I'm going to be having my first live stream. This live stream is going to be a private live stream for Intuitive Angling and all my other channels. The channel members, if you're a channel member, you'll be able to get on this live stream, or if you're a Patreon member. We're going to talk all about fishing, man. We'll interact with comments. I'll answer all your guys' comments you put across. Talk about all the stuff we can't talk about on the main channel. So if you want to be part of that live stream moving forward, just go to my YouTube homepage, hit the join button. A lot of different levels there you can join up at, or go to my any link I have in my video description and join up the Patreon program. So hope to see you guys there at the live stream next Thursday. Okay, guys, I saw a couple of interviews the last couple of weeks about some of the veteran bass pros talking about live scope and forward-facing sonar, about how it's here to stay and there's nothing you can do to changes and you have to adopt to that technology. Bullshit. I am so disappointed that some of my peers are not only saying that now, but they have not risen to the occasion over the past 2 or 3 years. Guys, I have fished around a lot of these guys my whole life. Now the guys I'm talking about are freaking superstars. A lot of them, you know, they're household names. And I can't tell you how disappointed I am that they have not risen to the occasion and tried to get this out of our sport. And here's the thing about it, that what it reminds me of. Guys, you've seen, let's take for example, a politician, a congressperson or senator, they've been in office for like 30 or 40 years. And they know what's right, they know what's wrong. And in the past, they've had a backbone and they've stood up to things that they knew that were wrong. But I've noticed here recently that a lot of those, they don't. They're complacent. They don't have any spine. They let their morals, integrity go out the window just so they can keep their seat. They don't want to rock the boat. They don't want to cause anything to have them to be singled out. They want to go along like a herd of cows. They don't want to stand up and do what's right. Sort of reminds me what's going on with some of these bass pros, the veterans that have not stood up against this forward-facing sonar. Now, if you're one of the guys that I'm talking about, you know who you are. You guys have been fishing around me for 30 years. You know this is a bunch of bullshit. You guys know that this technological invasion that we're having in our sport is a bunch of complete bullshit. And I'm so disappointed at some of you guys for not standing up for it, because you know it's not right. And I can tell you one thing: if you're one of those guys out there that built your name prior to forward-facing sonar, and you don't come out and stand up against this technology, you do realize that this technology is why you're no longer at the top of the game in the sport. This technology has undermined your art form and your mastery of the sport that you have taken decades to acquire. Everything that you know about seasonal patterns and movements of fish and the intricacies and the nuances of bass and how to adapt to waters around the country, it's worthless now because of forward-facing sonar, and you guys have not done anything about it. You've enabled this bullshit to take over the sport. And I don't understand it. It's like, what are you scared of? It's like, if you're scared of, if you got like a $500 a month retainer from an electronic company and getting some free units, do you really think that's worth undermining the entire sustainability and the future of our sport and losing all of the heritage and the tradition and the mystery of the magic just so you can keep your $500 a month retainer? I do not and a lot of them don't even have that. A lot of them, for whatever reason, they think that it's cool to like, oh, I'm even though I'm an old dude, I'm hip on the new technology, and that's just the way of the future, and things change, and we got to keep up with change. Bullshit again. This is not what what we're talking about here is not change for the positive. This isn't anything that's positive. This is the single most destructive element that our sport has ever seen or will see. This advancing technology that's just in its infancy right now with forward-facing sonar and live scope is going to give way to AI technology. It's going to give way to advancements within that same technology that we're seeing invade the sport now, that is going to make it look like it's in kindergarten. And unless you guys, the guys with the big voices out there and the guys that have big followings, unless you stand up and grow a pair and get a backbone and do what you know is right and come out against this and try to undermine it at every corner that you can, I don't see how you can live with yourself, because you guys know better. You guys know that bass fishing, especially professional bass fishing, is about fishing to find fish. It's not about going out on the water and putting in $50,000 worth of electronics and have an electronic unit show you where the fish are and show you where to cast to and show you what the fish are doing and show you how they're reacting to your bait while you got your head glued at a damn live scope screen. And it doesn't even matter if you think that's cool. You can't compete with them. You can't compete with the 20-year-old flat brimmers that's all they do, because you know too much. You have too much experience under your belt. You'll never be able to compete with them. And in what you're trying to do, if you're trying to like play the middle of the road and to try to play this level-headed, reasonable bass pro that keeps up with the times, you are failing the sport, because we need you guys more than ever. And if you're one of those bass pros out there that has made a living in the sport and you're considered a superstar, I want to highly encourage you guys, it's not too late to come over to the good side here. Stop being complacent. Like I said, grow a pair, grow a backbone, stand up against this bullshit that you know is wrong. And I don't understand it. It's just like, we could have put a stop to this a long time ago. There is about a dozen bass anglers in this country that they are power brokers within the sport. They have contacts in the media. They have contacts within the industry. We could have put a stop to all this crap 3 or 4 years ago, but for whatever reason, there's 4 or 5 of them out there that are still subsidized by the electronic companies. There's a bunch of them out there that don't want to make waves. There's a bunch of them out there that don't want to get labeled as like old geezers not wanting to keep up with the times. And in the meantime, you're throwing our sport down the toilet. Because I can tell you right now, I don't care what anybody says, this advancing technology in the sport is going to destroy the sport of fishing on every level. It's going to destroy the sustainability of our fisheries at some point, which it already has, beginning to do though. It's going to undermine everything that made this sport great. It takes away all the mystery and the magic and the unknown of fishing. It takes away the aspect of actually fishing to find fish. And once you take away that mystery and the unknown and that whole intrinsic value of fishing that makes it what it's great, and you relegate it to some commercial venture of just catching something you can see on a video game screen, you've diminished the sport down to something where it's not even recognizable or even worth pursuing. So anyway, guys, if you're one of those dudes and you know who you are, it's not too late. It's like, I'm disappointed in you for doing that, for not having the courage to stand up and do what's right, but it's not too late to turn the ship around. There's about a dozen bass pros in this country. If they would coalesce and come together, we could put all this behind us. We could completely stop forward-facing sonar in the tournaments and get back to the place where bass fishing was the greatest sport on earth, especially tournament fishing. That's why you've seen such a decline and a degradation in tournament fishing over the past 3 years because of forward-facing sonar and live scope. That's why you've seen the chaos. That's why you've seen the division in the sport. It's not because of me, just because I've been the one leading the charge against it. I'm just pointing out the obvious. I'm just a broken down, road sign trying to point the right way. The real culprit in this is forward-facing sonar that has caused this chaos and division. It's caused our industry to basically be on its knees as far as tackle sales going down the tube. Everything about it. It's just like, it's the worst thing that has ever happened to bass fishing. And again, I'm highly disappointed in all those pros out there that have not had the backbone to stand up and do the right thing. So it's not too late. come over to the light side, get out of the dark side, come over and do the right thing, and we can still save the sport for future generations if you guys would do the right thing.